Hello viewers. In last video we saw the basic commands and we came across this line and it was integer a, and I want to make you understand. I'm gonna break this line into things: data type and variable. Now just let's talk about the variable now. To make you understand, I'm gonna give an example of the cupboard in your home. So you have cupboard in your home and you put your clothes into the cupboard, but you don't simply put it randomly. You make some compartments in the cupboard, and then you put your shirts separately, your jeans separately, your t-shirts separately, your other stuffs separately. So that's why you arrange those clothes in the cupboard. It's the same concept is in the computer machine does at the time of the memory location, and this variable helps it. Suppose if I want to put a number, that's 4. So I'm assigning the value 4 to the variable a. At that time, what does computer do? It takes make some compartment in the memory, take the part of the memory and give it a name. Suppose the name we have assigned over here, integer a. Then he took some part of the memory and gave the name it as a. And then what does happen? Puts the number into this part of the memory. And suppose I want to write another number, so it does the overwriting also. If I put after a is equals to 4, I put a is equals to 16. At that time it will just overwrite on this. As we know, it executes line by line, so it will put 4 first and then it will put 16, and it will forget about the 4. It will discard the 4 and it will simply put the 16. So this is how the variable works. Data types. As earlier I gave the example of the cupboard, same example I'm gonna tell you over here. As we assign some data type, suppose integer a, at that time it assigns the part of this memory and give it name as a, and as it is the data type integer, so every compartment has the memory. In the example of the cupboard, you cannot put your old clothes in the same compartment because it has some limitation. It will contain 25 shirts, 30 shirts, but after some limit you can put any other shirt into the compartment. Just like that, in here you have some range in this part of the memory. Suppose that is the range of the 5-bit. It is the range of the 5-bit, and just I'm giving an example. So suppose I want to put a number that is 4, as I told you. So the computer doesn't understand what means by the 4. So it convert that number into the binary number. So this binary number will get into this likewise. So this is what actually happens when you assign a data type. It gives some range to that variable. And if suppose I want to put number which goes beyond this 5 bytes, which is 4 bytes, that's 16, 32. 32 contains 6 bytes. 6 bytes. So you can put this whole bits into this part of the memory because it has the limitations of the 5-bit memory only. So that's why we use the data type. So if you want to increase the range of the memory, we use unsigned integer a or short integer a as per our need. Now this is the main part you need to understand, because this we are gonna use in the embedded C. This is very important for the embedded C coders. So you should know about these data types because these are very important. If you want to, we use integer data type when we want to store a number which is which doesn't contains the decimal point, means which are the not fractional numbers like 1, 5, 8 or any other number, 2, 13. This doesn't contains the decimal point. That's why we have to use this in the integer. And suppose the number you want to play with it's in the decimal point, you need to use the float data type. If you will put this decimal point number into the integer will only get the 1, it will not get the right side part of the point. That's why we need this float data type. And in character you can only save the letter words and only a letter word, one letter word like A or B. You cannot put both together or it will give you the garbage value on the console screen. So this is needed to understand for the embedded C coders, and we will execute this in our next video. Thank you.